Hi everyone. In this video, we'll be seeing about what is a pattern and what are the types of pattern available. So in the previous videos, we saw about what are the manufacturing process that can be done and how a sand casting is done. What are the procedure is done in a sand casting. So first and foremost step in a sand casting is a pattern making. So the pattern is a tool to produce the mold cavity. It is a mold making tool. So whatever the component we are going to produce, what it may be a engine block or a simple cube or everything, we should have that pattern first, like how it should come, that the replica of the component that we are going to produce. The shape of the pattern should be same as that of a component or casting, but the size will be slightly larger than the casting. So pattern is also referred to as a positive replica of the casting. A number of castings can be made using a single pattern. So this is about the introduction of a pattern. So this is a system illustrative image of a pattern. So this is how a pattern, this is a type of a split pattern where there are two components. Actually there are a variety of shapes of patterns available, which we will be seeing in this video later. So functions of a pattern. What is the function of a pattern? The basic functions of a pattern are to produce mold cavity faithfully, to establish a parting line, promote production of quality casting, incorporate gating system and a riser, to bring economy of the process, to have provision for core prints. So these are some of the basic functions of a pattern, that is to have a mold, parting line, improve the quality of a casting, having a runner and riser, economy to be considered, and also to have a core prints, provision for core print. These are some of the functions of a pattern. And the next one is about materials used for patterns. So before selecting a particular material, few things to be considered. We cannot simply select a material for producing the pattern. So like based on number of castings to be produced, whether it should be for a permanent usage or a temporary usage. So based on that, if we can make a mold in a pattern in a wood or a plastic, it can be used for longer, whereas in a plaster of Paris it comes only for a very few patterns molding, and after that it will break off. And wax also the same thing, it will rest. So number of castings to be produced. With that pattern, how many castings we are going to produce, the accuracy and the surface finish of casting required, shape and size of the casting, reusability of pattern, how long we will be reusing the same pattern so that it gives more repeatable works, and type of mold material used. So type of molding selected, it should be a green sand molding or an investment process. There are variety of materials which can be used as a patterns. So it starts with wood, metal, wax, plastics, and plaster of Paris. So plaster of Paris, if we take, so wood, that is the most commonly used material for producing the pattern. This is the most commonly used one. The next one is metal. So this wood and metal, it can be used for a very long period. So more number of patterns can be produced with the help of wood and metal. So wood means there are plenty of wood available, in which pine wood, teak wood, compressed plywood are generally used woods. And if we take about the metal, there are like aluminium alloys, steel, etc., which are commonly used for making this pattern. And the next one is about wax. So wax, it is a reusable material which is light in weight. It gives us good surface finish and also suitable for complex shapes. Withdrawal of wax pattern from the mold is easier compared to that of things, because the withdrawal of the pattern, it also plays a very major role in producing a good cavity. So if a good cavity is produced, the component produced also will be of good surface finish. If there is any slight damage in the cavity, then obviously there will be some defects in the component produced with the help of that cavity. If a component is coming out with some cracks, will it be acceptable in the market? No. So the removing of the pattern also plays a very important role in casting, in which wax plays a better compared to that of the wood and metal. And the next one is plastics. So there are a variety of plastics like thermoplastic, thermosetting plastics are used for. So mostly they are of strong and light in weight. So this is used often. And the next one is gypsum. That is nothing but the plaster of Paris, is another capable of producing very intricate shapes. So very intricate shapes like the engine blocks, all those things. This can be done with the pattern produced of the plaster of Paris, but this is used for not used for a very longer time. So this is about the varieties of materials used as a pattern. The next one is various allowances. So there are some allowances that is that can be given, so that to produce a better surface finish, to get a better component. So pattern has the same shape as that of a casting, but the dimensions will be usually larger than that of the casting actually we need. So this extra dimensions for the required value, from the required value given on the pattern, is called as allowances. For example, if you need a cube of 2020, it can be of little bigger one, so that we'll get the exact shape and size. So these allowances are due to the metallurgical and mechanical reasons. So there are various allowances like shrinkage allowance, draft allowance, machining allowance, scale and grinding allowance, distortion allowance. Now let us see in brief about each and every allowance. So first it starts with the shrinkage allowance. So all the metals and alloys, it undergoes decrease in volume when cooled from liquid temperature to room temperature. So this change in volume of metal or alloy is called as shrinkage allowance. So if you are producing a pattern in a very comparatively of bigger size than the actual size required, then automatically when the it converts from the liquid state to solid state, it comes to the exact dimension of what we required. So this diagram, it shows like a starting level immediately after pouring and reduction in the liquid. So the lighter one, it shows about the reduction in the liquid. So the next allowance is draft allowance. So here you can see here, for producing a square structure, when we are taking the casting out, there is some cracks. So if there are some cracks like this in the cavity, we will not get a good surface. So in that manner, we can have some tapered surfaces. Later we can take it out and we can machine it according to the shape we need. So this type of thing is called as draft allowance, for the easy removal of the pattern without any distortion, without any shake or any crack in the cavity. And the next one is machining allowance. Most of the castings will have more than one surface that needs machining. The dimensions can reduced after machining, hence size of the pattern is made larger than the required. During machining, this extra material on the casting is removed. So these are some of the allowances that can be given in a machining. So for a cast iron, it can be from 1 to 10 mm. Cast steel, it can be from 3 to 12 mm. Aluminium, it can be 1.5 to 4.5 mm. Alloys, it can be like 1.5 to 4.5 mm. And brass and bronze, it can be like 1.5 to 5 mm. So these are some of the machining allowances. And the next one is scale and grinding allowance. Most of the castings, it undergo heat treatment. Due to higher temperature, scales are formed on the surface. So this need to be removed by grinding process. In addition, some surface imperfections to be removed by grinding process. Hence, the casting is made slightly bigger than the required to accommodate this. And the next one is about distortion allowance. So the castings are having shapes such as, so this for all the allowances are not applicable for everything, so based on the shape also it differs. So here we can see like shapes such as C, U and large plate lose their shapes during solidification. So if we want to produce a shape like this, if you want to produce a shape like this in a I way, if your if there is no any allowance, then the final will be of this shape. This is not a perfect I. So in order to that, the casting should be distorted, so that when there is some allowances, it when it's taken out, it comes out in a perfect manner. So to take care of this pattern is given as the allowance in the direction opposite to the expected distortion. So if we need it in this shape, the allowance should be in the reverse opposite shape. Similarly, if we need the distortion in this shape, it should be in the pattern should be in of a opposite direction. So this is about the allowances that can be given in a casting. Thank you.